Hello everybody, it's evening here. Thanks for clicking on this video. Now today's video is about this philodendron. I think it's a Philodendron Malay Gold, but the plant is actually just an excuse to try and find out why some houseplants are so cheap. Now, there are a lot of videos out there about the question why certain houseplants are so expensive. Which, by the way, in general is mostly not because they are rare, but because they are being hyped. But I would like to know why I only had to pay €2, which is a little bit more than $2, for this gorgeous philodendron. I bought this plant last weekend in a plant nursery in France. I was there for just one day to visit a museum, and I think we all like to visit a plant nursery when we travel abroad, just to see what they have and what the prices are like in another country. So I went to this plant nursery and saw this plant. It was funny enough just labeled as green plant, which isn't even completely true because it has quite a few lime yellow leaves and some red stems on it. But anyway, I digress. So this plant, it's not huge, but it's not a baby plant either, and it was sold for €2. And here I will quickly show you a copy of my receipt where it says plant vert, which means green plants. You can see it was only €2. And you can also see at the top of the receipt, by the way, that I also bought 2 big moss balls for €20, which would have given me 10 Malay Gold philodendron plants, but that's a whole different story. Now I quickly looked on the internet for prices for this plant, and as I said, I think this is a Philodendron Malay Gold, sometimes also called Golden Goddess, supposedly from Thailand, but if it is, it's definitely a cultivar or a hybrid. And I saw on some American websites that prices for this plant, for more or less the same size, go from $10, which I saw on the USA website of Equagenera, up to even $35, which I saw on the Plantarina website. I'm sorry, Amanda, well, I'm pretty sure she doesn't watch my channel, for, as I said, more or less the same size plant. So that's 5 to 17 times what I paid in France. But even where I live in Belgium, this plant is normally 6 to 10 times more expensive. So, how can a plant nursery make any money by selling this plant for only €2 is what I'm asking myself. And mind you, this plant was not on sale, it was just the regular price. Now, if I had to make an educated guess, I would say that perhaps they don't make any profit at all. On the contrary, I think they lost money on these plants, or perhaps they made just a tiny little profit. I would say that whether they have their own greenhouses to grow their plants or whether they got them from a different grower, these plants probably reached a certain size that made it impossible to keep on occupying all that precious space in the greenhouses. So they just had to get rid of them at any cost or use them as customer bait to make space for different and more popular plants in their greenhouses. And all this actually reminds me of something from my childhood. My parents grew vegetables and fruit in greenhouses for a living. And sometimes, for instance, when our greenhouses were filled with tomato plants, the tomato market would suddenly crash, meaning that it would be cheaper to harvest the ripe tomatoes and then just throwing them away, because if we had to transport them to the auction company and pay that company a commission for selling our tomatoes, we would actually be losing money instead of making money. So as a child, I spent many hours harvesting tomatoes, knowing that we would just throw them away afterwards. Which is sad, of course, but I guess this is the consequence of the economy of offer and demand that we all live by. Anyway, if you have any other possible explanation why this guy was sold to me so cheaply, please let me know. I'm really interested in your opinion about this. Me, I'm just happy that I saved this beautiful philodendron from perhaps being thrown away. So in the end, by buying it, I did my good plant deed of the weekend. And all I ask in return from this plant is that it doesn't die on me in the next week, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Okay, so that's all I got for you for this evening. Please like and subscribe if you feel like it, of course. I wish you a very nice day or evening, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.